Hey everybody, and welcome to a new series on the channel. And I know what you're saying. You're saying, hey, you have a bunch of series already. Well, that's right, but that doesn't mean that anything's going away. It just means I'm trying to find something new and experience new things and let you experience new things through me, so have some variety. Just want to put some feelers out there and see what works for the channel and what doesn't work for the channel. So let me know, of course, what you like. If you like a series, give it a like, give it a thumbs up, give it a comment. Let me know what you like. If you don't like something, also let me know so I can kind of tailor it, because I don't know what you want to see unless you let me know what you want to see. So with that said, this is Interrogation. You Will Be Deceived, I think is the title of it. It's definitely called Interrogation. The subtitle, I think, is right here. You Will Be Deceived. There you go. I know what it is. So, I've skipped the first intro cutscene thing. It was nothing. You didn't miss anything. And right in here, we're given the option, do we want the interrogation challenge or the narrative experience? And that's what we're going with on this channel a lot, is narrative experience. We want to tell stories. We want to experience stories together. So for the interrogation challenge, you'll have a challenging conversational puzzle gameplay. You will need to try interrogations multiple times and may need to rewind the campaign. It's kind of like hard mode, sounds like. Or the narrative experience. Gameplay challenges are minimized, letting you focus on the story without the worry of failure. Expect some uncanny confessions. So it's easy mode. People are going to just confess when they should not confess. I've read one review. I've skimmed one review that talks about this, and they said basically you probably want to go with interrogation challenge because narrative experience is perhaps too easy. So let's just go ahead with that. A few years ago. Okay, that's loud, but we will fix that right now. We'll just lower that right down. Lower that right the heck down. There we go. How's that? Not peaking? Okay, great. So, welcome. This will be the first drill session of the investigative interview and interrogation techniques course. Alright, so we have a tutorial. We'll be bringing in a suspect or subject. They're a trained actor, but should be fully in character for the duration of the interview. I'm considered invisible and inaudible by the actor, but I'll be guiding you along. Okay, so you're going to tell me how to play the game. Before any interrogation, the first thing you do is consult the subject's file. This should give you the vital insights into the case, helping you to identify what information or confession needs to be extracted. Alright, we'll click on it. We know how to play. So, this is Douglas Bird. Douglas Bird is played by an actor. As per the instructor's directions, treat the actor the same as you would a real subject. Mr. Bird, despite coming from well-off parents, has taken to bike theft. We have plenty of circumstantial evidence. Because none of it is direct, however, we need to leverage all the leads in order to get a full confession. Okay, so Mr. Bird, why are you stealing bikes when your family is well off? And here's more about Douglas Bird right now. He's 26 years old. He's very skinny, only 123 pounds. Douglas Bird is our main suspect for several bicycle thefts at a local university campus. Several eyewitnesses confirmed his description. We also have CCTV footage showing a masked figure matching the suspect's description, jumping onto an unsupervised bicycle and riding off fast. He's currently listed as unemployed, living in a rented apartment paid for by his parents. His criminal record is clean, but he is known to be friends with several narcotic abusers, as well as a roommate who is a suspected marijuana dealer. Okay, so maybe into a little drugs. He's a long-haired, skinny boy who steals bicycles. All right, when you're done checking the files, you can bring in the suspect, or I keep saying suspect when it says subject. Be careful though, now is not the case, but when it will be a time-sensitive situation, that is when the clock starts ticking. Ooh, and that's something I don't deal with very honestly, really. I don't really care for time-bound time restricted things. So let's see. Let's bring him in. Hey, Mr. Bird, how you doing? So first things first, let's try and straight up ask him. You can check the accusation questions every now and then to get a sense of whether you're close to a confession. Okay, the accusation question. So I'm gonna... What is this is the accusation question? You said we can check it, so what happens if I click it? Without saying, why do you steal bikes? If they look at you in disbelief, we don't know nothing. I'm not signaling nothing. Nah, so... Okay, too early for that. Well, let's keep working on it. Oh, is it because it's red? You didn't explain it to me. You said I can keep checking on it. Is it because it's red? And I shouldn't have clicked on it when it was red? Come on, detective. I know that you're invisible, but you need to tell me these things. Alright, so let's start easy. Let's not just right off the bat accuse him. Why do you steal bikes, Douglas? Huh? I ain't steal no bikes, Broseph. Okay, we're not your Broseph, okay? Right, so that surprisingly didn't work. We need to get to the subject in the right state of mind to give us answers. So how can we do that? We have the following tools which we can use to see what state the subject is in. This shows us how open the subject is by looking at pupil dilation corroborated with a few other signals. The wider the pupils are, the more open the subject is. Sorry about that. If the game cut there, I had to pause a quick second to check on something. But in case you missed it, in case that I paused or unpaused a little too wrong, too early, too late, etc., etc., they were telling us that this icon right here is their pupil distance, and the wider, or their pupil size, and the wider this is, the more open the person is to discussing things with us. And this meter up here, this meter tells us how scared the subject is by measuring pulse as well as other bodily symptoms. The quicker the heart rate, the more scared the subject is. Okay, so faster pulse, they're scared. More dilated pupils, they're open and telling the truth. I gotcha. I don't gotcha, but sure, whatever. Now you can influence these meters in all sorts of ways, from building a personal connection to exploiting their backgrounds, from cornering them in contradictions to roughing them up. Let's try to build a connection first. Be careful, some questions will alienate the subject instead of bringing them closer. Other questions will seem disingenuous if they're approached too suddenly. You'll probably want to start off as soft as possible. Yeah, let's not just go in and say, you stole the bikes, we know you stole the bikes, why don't you confess? Be careful, some questions will alienate the subject instead of, okay, we already saw that. Sure, yep. So, says in your file your folks are loaded, what's the matter, they cut you off. Says in your file your folks are loaded, you steal for fun. Hey, living's expensive, I know. I used to crack payphones when I was a teen. Or, can't believe they have me chasing bikes, why can't people just lock them up proper? Or, let's talk about writing a confession. Yeah, so we're not gonna just do that. Hey, let's just go with the, can't believe they're having me do this whole bike thing. It's fucking stupid, man. Okay, yeah, let's just curse right out the gate. It's another Kuno all over again. Waste taxpayers' money and all that. Hey, yeah, you're right, dude. Okay, good, you seem more authentic. Now get closer to the subject. Alright. Living's expensive, I know. I used to crack payphones. Word? That's thug. Indeed, we are very thug, sir. Okay, we have him opening up some. Good. That's why the meter now shows a wider circle than in the beginning. Yep, here we go. Here's the pupil size. Doing good. Let's see how we could try to scare him. Want to intimidate, but don't jump to big threats right off the bat. Don't be afraid to ask a question more than once. Asking again with the subject in a different state or with new information on the table can yield new results. Okay, so that's a little interesting. We can ask the same question multiple times. If we don't have a deal and you're found guilty, it's absolutely prison time. But I can only give you a deal if you plead guilty. Did the drugs make you do it? You know how many months you do for bike theft? Hey, you're tough. You'll be fine in prison, I'm sure. You know how many months you get for bike theft, dude? Nah, man, nah. I ain't worried about that. Are you sure? So there are signs of fear. We're on to something. Is there? Did this go up? Did the drugs make you do it? I'm clean, yo. He doesn't seem scared by that. Might actually be clean. Alright, well, yeah. I mean, you said you're not scared. You seem tough. I'm sure you'll be fine in prison. What? You don't do time for snatching bikes, do you? I already said, you know how many months? My dad works for a senator. I'll be fine. Sometimes the talks reveal new information that you could further pursue. Oh, you think the senator will risk his career for the sake of a bike snatching kid? Probably not. Shit. Yep. You better confess, sir. There we go. We're getting there. Now let's put him in a good place to negotiate. So, you help me, I'll help you. You plead guilty. We can get this knocked down to like a misdemeanor misunderstanding. But like, I mean, what would a deal be like? Okay, we got him. As you can see, his pulse is much faster right now. Okay, I see. Yep. Okay, now this is off the record, but I want you to know your options. At any time, you can stop the recorder tracking your questioning. That's a bad cop move, and we're not a bad cop. I just want to put this out right here in the tutorial that we are a good cop, and that's how we're going to be playing a good cop. So don't expect any roughing up of suspects. This will make people suspicious. The public will ask what happened when the recording was stopped. You'll be accused, but ultimately, it's your word against theirs. In a pinch, though, it's something to consider. You have means of enhanced interrogation that can get a subject scared faster. Try a couple out. The actor will just pretend to be hurt. Alright. Time to go to the wall and pray. I require your full attention. Or, tasers. We ain't no tasing nobody, dude. They breathe heavily, startled and displeased. Yeah, well, you know what? Up against the wall. Burp. Doing this closes them off. But as you can see, now they're terrified. Beware that if you continue roughing them up, they might pass out. Start the recorder again when you're done. Alright, there you go. Sometimes you'll be interrogating against the clock. When that's the case, keep your eyes on the timer. Right here. Gotcha. Sometimes you'll be interrogating more than one guy. Switch between rooms and be sure to cross-reference the info they give you. Alright, that sounds absolutely kind of difficult and I don't like it. Like, is it going to be switch between rooms while timed? I don't know how I feel about that. Anyways, you get to keep your manual after you finish the academy. It's great for refreshing your memory about what you learned today. Okay, now wrap this up. We're going to get a confession with the accusation question. Let's talk about writing a confession. We both know you did it. Come on. Well, nah. What would like that involve, though? We've almost got him. We just have to press him on the right way. There are ways in which you can press an open subject, and other ways in which you can press a terrified subject, like this one. Look, you'll be fine. We'll help you compensate the victims, make things right. Ready to sign a confession? Or, listen, you lowlife, sign this damn confession right now. Maybe we'll keep your dumb ass out of jail. Okay, so he's terrified, so we'll go with that one. Fuck, man, fuck. Shit. Okay. Alright, I'll sign. Mission accomplished. Alright, here we go. Achievement unlocked. Taking names and asking questions. Hello, sir. Chief Anderson. Hey, I need you to come in on a case. Fisher's brought in a set of guys. They're in the interrogation rooms. So you're already gonna make me flip back and forth between people? Hey, Mordecai, how's it going? We have the Vic's husband, the only witness, and the robber that broke in. We need your questioning magic in there. Confession, because all we have is circumstantial. You in? Yes, sir. So the story is this Cox broke in armed with a low-cal piece, holding this Peterson up and tying him to a chair. Okay, Cox is the suspect. He tied up Peterson. Wife comes in, jumps for the phone. Cox drops her with 2 shots to the back before bolting. Okay, he shot her in the back. We have the gun, no prints. Miss Peterson was as cool as a cucumber. His wife's body's just lying there in the other room. Well, that's not a good sign. Typically, you want to see some kind of grief, unless he's in shock. People grieve in different ways, but being cool as a cucumber? Seems odd. Managed to track down and also grab Cox. Street contacts helped out. Well, thank you, Mordecai, and thank you, street contacts. Well, we still don't have a clear picture of the murder. Check out the files, grill them cross-examination. Give me a confession. Alright, here we go. Here we go. Victim's name is Heather Peterson. It was a burglary, breaking and entry, and homicide. Heather Peterson was murdered in her living room in front of her husband, Darryl Peterson. He was found tied down in a chair in the same room. He claims a burglar broke in and, armed with a low-caliber gun, threatened them, tied them up, and subsequently shot Mrs. Peterson as she tried to use her cell phone. Using the description provided and a tip from a local pawn shop, we managed to track down the burglar, one Jerry Munch Cox. Come on, Munch Cox. Okay, so we apprehended him. There we go. Let's just skip over that part. The gun was found outside the building near the fire escape. The thief used to enter and leave the premises. Alright. The evidence of the burglary is clear, but we still don't have a full picture of the murder, which Munch strongly denies committing. What complicates things is Mr. Darryl Peterson's attitude. The first detective on the scene described him as disturbingly serene. Yeah, we heard that he was cool as a cucumber. Our best hope of closing the case fast and clean is an admission of guilt. Munch and Peterson have both been held for questioning. You have been tasked with extracting a confession. Well, who is this? Jerry Cox. Hello, Mr. Cox. 26-year-old. Little overweight, 200 pounds. Maybe it doesn't matter. Let's see. Jerry Cox, alias Munch. Alright, can we stop saying it? Has been identified as the burglar who broke into the Petersons' apartment the night of the murder. His criminal record is quite colorful. It includes car theft, pickpocketing, burglary, and credit card fraud. A high school dropout with no current employer. Munch is well known to the local police as a troublemaker. Okay, so we know who he is, and he's, he does some crimes. We gotcha. He's the main suspect and has been directly accused of tying down this couple and shooting the wife. Tying down the couple? We only said he tied down one person. And I thought he just tied down Peterson, Mr. Peterson, then the wife came in unexpectedly. But still, if that's what you say, tying down the couple and shooting the wife, possibly impulsively under stress when she reached for the phone. While circumstantial evidence and the husband's testimony points to Munch as the murderer, it's not sufficient for conviction. He does not have a past record of violent crime of any sort. Munch has previously taken plea bargains and perhaps be pressured into doing so again. Okay, so we can pressure Mr. Cox here. Then we have Darryl Peterson. Darryl Peterson. Looks like he's an outdoors man. Likes to dress up in a tuxedo every now and then. Darryl Peterson is the husband of the victim. Although we usually avoid involving family members of the recently deceased in an investigation, he is the sole witness of the murder, and as such a key asset. He has voluntarily agreed to be interviewed. Peterson's reports so far have been inaccurate and led to the arrest of the burglar and the main suspect for the murder, Jerry Munch Cox. We're just going to keep trying to get that lowbrow joke in there as much as we can, huh? However, the police officers of the first unit at the scene reported Peterson displaying unusual calm and composure. This is a suspicious degree of detachment for someone emerging from such a traumatic and stressful situation. This raises some concerns, yet Peterson has a clean record, and there's no evidence that points to any wrongdoing on his part. Alright, well, let's bring him in. Do we get a choice? Well, we do get a choice. We can choose Mr. Cox first or Mr. Peterson first? Let's talk to Mr. Peterson first. Mr. Peterson, let's talk a bit about yourself, Darryl. I have some questions about your wife. What were you and your wife doing that night before it all happened? I'd like to know some details about the incident's timeline. Tell me about yourself, Darryl. I don't know if this is the best time to get acquainted, but ask away. The first few hours must be hard. How are you handling the loss? What you went through can be very traumatic. Do you have any family to help you get through these tough times? Have you taken leave from work to deal with this? Tell me, do you have any support network, sir? They're slightly annoyed. No, and I do not think this is in any way relevant to your investigation. I'm just trying to be friendly, sir. Alright. Let's change the subject, sir. Okay. Well, what were you and your wife doing that night, before it all happened? We were watching TV when the bastard came in through the window. Okay. I'll turn down my own volume, because that seems a little loud. Maybe I'll turn down the game volume too, just a hair. Because there's no actual voice, so this is all just kind of background. There we go. Turn it way down, like 15 decibels down. Okay, so was there anyone else in the house with you? Yes, just us? What do you mean? No, I mean, friends, family members, just the two of you? You sure there's no one else in the house but the two of you? So I ask again, could anyone have thought that you intended to leave the house with the doors locked? The lights on. Nobody else in the house? Yes, I'm quite sure. Okay. Were the doors locked? Were the lights on? What was the situation like? Yes, the doors were locked, and the lights were on in the living room. And you were in the living room. I gotcha. So the burglar tried the door first? You forgot to mention this before. Well, we never said that he tried it. We don't know that he did. So it was clear to anyone in the outside someone was in the house, and the burglar still came in. It's so troubling to be attacked in the safety of your home behind locked doors. I'm very sorry, Mr. Peterson. So, yeah. He saw the lights on, he still came in. Yes, that murderous piece of trash knew we were here. I gotcha. I gotcha. So let's head back. Tell me about your wife, sir. She was such an angel. What do you want to know? Did she get along with her colleagues at work? From what I know, yes, she never told me about any serious arguments. Okay, what about her neighbors? I don't know, we don't talk much with the neighbors, and she wasn't very sociable. How does this help you put that bastard behind bars? Well, I just need to know, sir, was she fighting with anybody? It's just standard questions. How were things in your marriage? I don't know about that one. That sounds very accusative already. Do you think anyone would hate her enough to plan on harming her? That's what we're asking. That's why we're asking about the co-workers and the neighbors. What? Of course not. That bastard that broke into her home didn't know either of us. Well, someone could have paid him, sir. That's what we're trying to figure out. Burglars usually abandon their attempt if there are people at home. This one didn't, and I'm wondering why he would be so stupid. Ah, and the burglar had a rope, and a loaded gun, and an escape plan. All of that effort to steal a few bonsai trees? Unlikely. Who said anything about the burglar? We'll keep an open suspect list. No. Seriously, he came in with rope and, to tie you up? Is that's not normal for a burglar, sir. Ah, I didn't think of that. If he really planned it all along, I hope he'll sit comfortably on the electric chair. Okay. So, nobody you think would plan on harming her? No, not really. Alright, let's change the topic, sir. Let me know a little bit about the incident. More about the timeline. Did you hear the burglar coming into the house? No, not really. The TV volume was quite high. Why was it so high, sir? When and where did you see him? When he entered the living room. Okay. And where were you and your wife? We were in the living room. Is this relevant to the investigation? Of course, where you were when you saw the guy is relevant, because we need to be able to piece together the timeline, sir. Okay. When did he pull the gun out? He had his gun out when he burst in. Okay. Alright, so he already was afraid. Okay, and how did you react? I put my hands up, of course. I told him that he could take what he wanted, as long as he did not hurt us. Well, that's smart. That's smart. So you didn't provoke him in any way? I didn't, but even if I would have, he's still a murderer. I don't want to talk about this anymore. Yeah, okay. Well, why did he tie you down? I guess he was scared I would try to fight him off. Do you really look like a guy that would fight someone? A guy as large as Mr. Cox? And your wife, did he tie her down? He was telling her to sit down when she darted towards the phone. That's when he shot her. In the back, remember, in the back. Okay, and I guess that's all I can... That's all for now, Mr. Peterson. Let's go to Mr. Cox and see how he feels. So, talk to me, Mr. Cox. Tell me a little bit about yourself. No need to Mr. Me around, Chief. You can call me Munch. I'd really rather not. But sure, Munch. You from here, Munch? Born and raised in this piss hole, yeah. I like the stink of it now, you know? Okay. And where do you work? Are you employed, sir? Nah, no work for me around. Unless you like bringing food to the rich people's tables. And I don't like that. I'm too smart for it, you know? Okay, so the only job you could get would be a waiter, and you don't want to be a waiter. I gotcha. So you're currently unemployed? Yeah, no job, no nothing. Okay. Friends, family, anyone we should, you know, notify, or anybody we could call for you? Don't you drag him into this, but I got a cousin. He's probably worried about me. Very well, if you write down his phone number or address, we'll make sure he knows you're safe. We're excellent. We'll track this cousin down and see if he can corroborate your story. Well, we don't have an option of, like, not saying anything, so we won't say we'll track the cousin down and... Nah. Well, just... We won't, like, interrogate him, but we'll let him know that you're hanging out here with us. Thanks, Chief, but I'd rather he didn't get into trouble looking for me. Just leave him out of this, okay? Alright, sure. Well, you know what? We know that you've had a bit of run-ins with the cops before, right? So this isn't your first crime. Why, you want to send me to prison for the old ones again? No, I'm just saying, there's a pattern. And if you want to help us not be prejudiced in that way, you know, some people are going to be prejudiced in that way. Maybe not me, but other people. You know, maybe the jury, maybe the prosecutors. So help me help you, so I can plead on your behalf if possible. Come on. What made you turn to crime? You've already been convicted once and did your time. Why do it again? Are you, or have you been part of any criminal group or gang? Or this is why you should have stayed in school, Munch? Yeah, I mean, you in a gang, dude? Is that why you're doing all these crimes? What? Of course not. Gangers are a dangerous bunch to be around. Not my cup of tea. Alright, sure. Well, why'd you turn to crime, dude? What you want, Chief? A sob story? It's pretty easy. I wanted to eat and didn't have food. Others had food, or TVs that you can sell for food. Alright, so you're unemployed and you're hungry. I gotcha. So, let's talk about the burglary. I don't get what all the fuss is about. It ain't like I got that much out of it. So you admit that you were burglaring? that you were robbing the place? Is that how that works? Why did you choose this house? I didn't choose it for nothing, Chief. I didn't do it. You just told me you did it. You said you didn't get nothing out of it. Whatever you want, whatever it is you want to pin on me. Well, were the lights on or off? I wouldn't go in and the lights were on. Mr. Peterson says they were. Come on, man, don't start with these things. Why do you think I would enter a house with people in it? Again, he says they were. That's all I'm saying. And I told you already that I did not see any lights. Okay. So the fire escape was already down? Yeah, it was. Do I look like a circus acrobat to you? And, well, were the lights on or off? I wouldn't go in and the lights were on. Mr. Peterson says they were. That's all I'm saying. And I told you already that I did not see any lights. Okay. So the fire escape was already down? Yeah, it was. Do I look like a circus acrobat to you? And, We don't know if he broke the window. So, were you aware there were people inside? How could I know about that? I don't have cameras in people's toilets like you boys do. Yeah. Then why take the risk if you did not know if there were people inside? But they were home. Did you see them? I bolted back down the ladder before I could see anyone. You did, because they said they saw you when you tied them up. You lie to me one more time and I'll stop playing nice. We caught you with stolen items, so don't tell me you just backed off. Is that true? Did we catch him with stolen items? Did I miss this part? A tip from a local pawn shop. Yeah, so we know he stole stuff. Munch, we know you stole things. You didn't just run away. Come on, work with me here, man. Oh shit, yeah, fine. The bedroom was empty, so I jumped in. Okay. So if they weren't in the bedroom, how'd you notice them? After I jumped in, I heard voices inside the apartment somewhere. It sounded like they were fighting or something. Okay, and what about the TV volume? Was that rather high, as Mr. Peterson says? Did you hear what they were fighting about? What do you think I am, man? The CIA? You tell me they were fighting You tell me what they were fighting about. I got my ass out of there as soon as I noticed someone was in the house. Well, yeah, I mean, sure. Alright, so they were fighting. What did you take? Just some useless small trees. It was the only thing around. I don't get what the big deal is. And then you run away when you heard them? As soon as I figured out they were home, I jumped back out and down the fire escape ladder. I wasn't inside for more than, I don't know, 5 minutes. Alright. Well, let's talk about the murder of Mrs. Peterson. Man, as I told the officer that arrested me, I know nothing about that. Alright, did you know the Petersons? Look, the only Peterson I know sells groceries back in my neighborhood, so no, I don't know the Petersons. Never did. I don't even know what they look like. And did you feel threatened by them? I'm sure they're nice people, but I haven't seen them, spoken to them, or even sent them a text. That's a long way of saying no. Well, the gun that shot Mrs. Peterson was found near the fire escape, and you used the fire escape. Someone must have dropped it or something. I told you, I don't know nothing about the murder. How can I know that it's not yours, sir? I don't know, man. What about that whole innocent until proven guilty thing? You got me. You got me. Have you ever owned a gun? I don't touch them, Chief. You said you live in a bad neighborhood. You don't own one for self-defense? Listen, Chief, in my hood, people with guns shoot other people with guns. You don't have one, you're safe. Well, a bit safer. Alright, I gotcha. Well, let's back up now. We found the husband tied down. He claims you did it. What? That lying shit lump? Do you think I carry rope around just in case? Nah, I'm not into that shibari stuff. Well, we did think that was a little odd for a robber to carry around rope with him. And, again, did you tie the husband down? That's what he claims. Now, there's no reason to ask that again, because he's already denied it. The woman was shot in the back. And you think I did it? Come on, be reasonable. If I was a guns blazing motherfucker, wouldn't I at least take their TV or something? Well, I guess that's true. Maybe you panicked, pulled the trigger accidentally. Did you happen to see anyone else in or around the house when you were there? Mr. Cox, you had no reason to care about these people. You're going down for this anyway. Don't waste my time, and I'll make sure you don't go to Max. So, yeah, let's say you didn't do it. Was there anyone else around who might have done it? I didn't see anyone. The street was empty, and I ran away as soon as I heard voices inside. Alright. Well, let's assume that's correct. Well, let's go back to Mr. Peterson. Mr. Peterson. Let's talk about the timeline a little bit. Munch claims he does not own a gun, and there's no evidence tying him to one. Well, he's clearly lying, or perhaps he stole mine. I kept it in the bedroom. You have a gun, sir? Well, that's interesting. Well, let's talk about some other things. Let's say, let's ask again. You didn't hear him coming into the house? Nope. And when did you see him? Well, he said he'd never entered the living room. Let's keep pressing him. Nah, can't do that. Okay. You said he tied you down. Well, he denies tying you down. Alright. No options there, so let's go. You said you own a gun. You're not registered as a gun owner. State's legislation doesn't say I need to register. I bought it at a gun fair anyway. What about it? Why didn't you report this sooner? It's quite dubious. I mean, well, you know, it's not, accuse them just yet. Why didn't you try to use the gun? Couldn't reach it in time. I was even waiting for an opportunity to test my aim on filth like him. So you were prepared for this? Seeing how dangerous this city is nowadays, criminals running loose with the police force, while the police force is too corrupt to do anything about it, you have to be ready to take matters in your own hands. No offense. I understand your concerns, but most people don't have the stomach to shoot, even in self-defense. Do you think you would have been able to? Or most people don't wish they had an opportunity to test their aim on a human being, Peterson. What if you killed him? Then there would be one less piece of trash walking the streets. If most people would be willing to stand up, the streets would be much safer. Alright, sure. Quite harsh views you have, Mr. Peterson. Do you really think this burglar deserves to die? Hell yes! For some people, there's no alternative. You just have to take things into your own hands and get tough. Only way this world will ever be a better place if honest people stand up, with force if necessary. So, vigilante justice, you think that's the solution? There's so much filth up there, and the system that's supposed to clean it is as dirty. If honest people like you and me don't take action, this filth will drown us all. It is the only solution, just you and me. That won't change much, don't you think, if it's just the two of us? There's many of us out there who think like this. We found each other online, like-minded people, willing to make up the responsibility to do the right thing. Okay, so, in some kind of vigilante justice, kind of Facebook group, are ya? You talking about a political platform, sir? No politics, or politics is their game. If we play by their rules, we lose because it's a rigged game. We need to short-circuit the whole system, shake up the entire establishment. Alright, yeah, so I gotcha. So you're a anarchist, sure. That takes a coordinated effort, though. How will that happen? There's this group I was talking about. We mostly meet online, forums, boards, chat rooms. It's a great tool to organize ourselves, plan things out. Yes, please tell me all about your secret plotting. Just open up to me about it. What sort of plans? I don't know for sure. I don't have the rights to the chat room where things are organized, but it will certainly be big. Sure it will, sir. Why don't you have access to that chat room? You need to show some commitment beforehand and be part of the group for a while. I asked for access. I'm sure I'll get it soon. Well, then who does have access? The chat rooms are anonymous, of course. We know each other by our IDs. Mostly veterans. People have been involved for a long time. They assign a mentor to new people. Mine is Hornbunny49. Silly name, I know. Okay, that's your mentor. What's your ID? Can we ask you that? What needs to be discussed in such secrecy? I don't know for sure, but it's the place where they assign actual tasks and set up meetings. Things are picking up recently. It's all very exciting to be part of the Liberation Front. Oh, the Liberation Front. It has a name then, sir. That's the group's name? No one voted on it or anything. It's just what we call it. Alright, well, I've heard enough about this line of questioning for now. If you want some links to the forums, I'll give them to you after we're done here. Alright, let's go back to Mr. Cox. Mr. Cox, have you heard about the Liberation Front? It's a gang or something? No. Never heard of them. Must be new. Well, you know what? I think you did it, Mr. Peterson. But let's go back through the list. See if we missed anything, yeah? Oh, here we go. What did your wife think about these online friends of yours? His voice is raised, averting his eyes defensively. Why does that matter to you? Again, what did your wife think about it? Okay, so not gonna follow me down that line of questioning there, sir. Well, tell me then, how were things in your marriage? Can you at least tell me that? That's quite personal. When you've been married for 7 years, things get complicated. Well, do you have any children, sir? No. We had other things to occupy ourselves with, alright. Well, the argument you had on the night of the attack, was that common in your relationship? Mr. Munch has told us that you were arguing. Well, there's no point denying it, although I don't think it's any of your business. Yes, we were arguing. We did a lot of arguing lately. So what? So tell me about those frequent disagreements then. What are you, couples therapist? She just knew what buttons to push to start an argument, that's all. Any other details you might have left out, sir? Nope. There we go. Here's some more options here. So, Mr. Cox says that the lights were off. Are you lying? Or Mr. Cox says that the lights were off, but they're probably confused by their lies. I'm gonna press you, sir. He says the lights were off. Were the lights off? And who will you believe, me or a criminal? Again, he says they were off. I told you already, he must be lying. Alright. Let's go back to the timeline. Anything new? Nope. Let's talk about your gun. Nope. Alright. What more can we get out of this? You know what, Mr. Peterson? Tell me, who killed your wife? Like, I don't really think either person is in a place to really confess right now, but who killed your wife, sir? What are you insinuating? That I killed her? To try to put me behind bars just because I said I believe scum like that burglar should stop walking this planet? How dare you jump from that to me killing my own wife? I never said, I just said, who killed your wife, Darryl? Alright, Mr. Munch. Who killed Mrs. Peterson? I know where you're going, regardless of what you believe I did, Chief. You got nothing on me, because I didn't kill nobody. Well, you know what? I believe you, sir, but there's very little options I can go on here. Let's talk more about your marriage. No, we've already asked all these questions. Like, I need to ask you about some things. Like, he said he never went into the living room. Why can't I pressure you on that? Come on, game. Stop fighting me here. We'll just keep clicking on all the things. There's got to be something that I'm missing. Mr. Munch, did we not ask you enough things? We'll just keep clicking. There seems to be no downside to keep clicking. There's no timer. Well, I guess we didn't click on... Maybe you panicked and pulled the trigger accidentally? What trigger? Panicked by what? You ain't pinning this on me. No matter how hard you try, okay? Yeah, sure. We're getting nowhere here. Can we just keep pressing him? Because I know you did it, sir. Is this because I didn't ask you about your job? I missed that one thing because I didn't feel like it was necessary to ask him about his job. So we asked him, have you taken leave from work to deal with this? There's no need for that. They fired me months ago. Was that why you were having an argument with your wife, sir? Where'd you used to work? Probably made the chair you're sitting on right now. You used to be a carpenter. Why'd you get fired? The corrupt assholes, they wanted to hire cheaper labor, immigrants and such. They didn't care I'd been working there for 6 years. All they care about was their own bottom line, these global corporations. Okay. And so your wife made all the money? Yeah, she had a salary and I did not. You sound just like her, criticizing me all the time. It can't be all roses and sunshine in one's career, okay? Well, that must have been frustrating to you, sir, not having a job. Yes, it was. I despise all that ass-kissing and self-boasting in the job hunt. Not everyone understands. Alright. There you go. So you and your wife argued often, and she blamed you for getting fired? Yes, she was relentless about it. Mostly blamed me for it. Wouldn't believe me that my boss was a bastard, that he had it in for me. Women like her always think they know everything. Do they, sir? Do they? I assume you were fighting over this on the night of the break-in? Actually, yes, that's what started it that night as well. It was a common thing for us. It must have been so frustrating for you, her constant pestering. Or, now it's time to stop bullshitting me, Peterson. It's obvious to anyone that you resented what she did. I mean, it seems like this is fast. Do we want... I mean, but he is opening up to us and, like, telling us about his little group, so... Yeah, I mean... You could probably win either way in this early case. It must have been pretty frustrating for you, man. I don't want to talk about it. Or don't want to talk about her or my feelings. Well, stop bullshitting me, dude. Yes, I deserved her respect, and she refused to give it to me. Any man in my position would feel the same. She was vicious and relentless. I couldn't have any peace and quiet. So that's why you were so composed. You actually hated her. I did, yes. I'm not happy she died, but I can't help but feel relief that she won't be blaming me for all the things that went wrong. Well, who killed your wife, Darryl? What do you mean? That damn burglar. Who do you think killed her? To me, it's clear you have no love for your wife. You resent her. I would go so far as to say you hate her. You even admitted it, sir. I did hate her, yes. I hated her arrogance. I hated her friends. I hated her fucking bonsai trees. I hated the disrespect she had for me. That doesn't mean I would ever hurt her. To me, it's clear you have no love for your wife. You resent her. I would go so far as to say, okay, that's what we just said. And even more than that night, you had an argument and you also saw a huge opportunity to blame the murder on this burglar who came in. Is that right, sir? What? How? I mean, you made it quite clear you see violence as a solution, Peterson. You talked with your friends online about it. You had the means and the motive to do it. If you believe in justice as you say, confess. Or listen, Peterson, I have you on record saying that you hated your wife and that you planned dangerous activities online. If you don't confess, I'll make sure you are convicted for terrorist intent and you'll rot in prison for the rest of your miserable life. There you go. Let's pressure him. He feels pressured. Is that your idea of justice? I admit, I killed her. She had it coming, as do so many others, such as you and the corrupt system that puts people like you in positions of power. Your time will come. Yeah. Tell me that once you're behind bars, Peterson. Achievement unlocked. It's always the husband. It is. It's always the husband. With the confession secured, Darryl Peterson will be going to jail for a long time. What is this Liberation Front business, though? Good work in there. I have something important I need to discuss with you. But before that, I need you to finish up the press release we're putting out about this case. Help them word it, then come see me. Alright, so must be what we do after a case. We write a press release. The investigation involving the murder of Heather Peterson was concluded today, which resulted in the arrest of Darryl Peterson, 41, and Jerry Cox, 26. All evidence pertaining to the case has been directed to the relevant authorities, with the full cooperation and counsel of the STPD Prosecutor Council. What police department are we in? I don't know what even city this is. Blank and their cases will be taken to criminal court. They'll be treated following judicial procedure. The criminals have been incarcerated. I mean, they'll be treated normally, like we're gonna follow procedure. Darryl Peterson, blank, not initially a suspect, the main suspect, the victim's husband. The victim's husband, that's pretty straightforward. Confessed to the murder during his questioning. Although he initially attempted to hide his involvement by staging a violent robbery, evidence found at the scene contradicted parts of his description of the event. The police will be advancing charges of voluntary manslaughter, first-degree murder. Yep, first-degree murder, because he totally planned it. Wasn't just an accident. Due to the confession, the manslaughter charges against Jerry Cox have been dropped, and he will face prosecution, only face prosecution for breaking and entering and theft. His involvement in creating the circumstances for the murder to happen will be investigated further. Or, evidence suggests he had no violent intent and no connection to the murder. No, he had no connection to the murder. Continue. Commit to your decisions and continue. There we are. Pick an old memory. So these are like perks? Speed demon? You have more time to interrogate, but cannot access files during or before interrogations. Fuck it, we'll do it live. Yeah, that's great. Profiler, reading reactions and emotional states is a science to you. You have an exact evaluation in numbers of how fearful and empathetic the subjects are. I like that. Intimidating presence, you have mastered the use of threats. We're not really a very threatening person, I don't think. You always follow procedure and are known for it. Subjects have more empathy towards you, but you have trouble frightening them and cannot use enhanced interrogation. We might do that because I don't think we're ever going to do that. You have keenly studied extremist ideology and may use that knowledge when talking to people with radical convictions. No, let's go known pacifist because we're never going to use the advanced interrogations anyways. Confirmed, and let's go. This Liberation Front business you got out of Peterson, it seems pretty serious stuff. They've been claiming more and more hits and seems to be behind things like assaults and politicians. They appear to be expanding their operation, chiefly in our city. So I've talked it over with the powers that be and we've decided that you're the best person for the job. You'll be heading up a small unit to combat these guys. We're pulling some of the best people from other departments to work with you. Not gonna lie, this unit will mean all eyes will be on you. Try and keep everyone happy. But most importantly, stop these bastards. Rest up. See you tomorrow. And that's... Can we, congratulations on your assignment, Detective. Let me introduce some of the people you'll be working with. Actually, can I just, can I save and quit? Is there a save and quit option? This is Tab Thompson, Analyst Extraordinaire. I look forward to addressing the threat of the Liberation Front with you, Detective. This is Jennifer Reyes, Organized Crime Department's best. Delighted Detective. Mordecai Fisher, who we pulled in from Homicide, will be helping you on the field. I'll leave you to it. Shall we head out and talk some shop over at Hannigan's? The meeting room's not being used. Hannigan sounds great. Let's take the meeting room. Let's go straight to our desks. Chief's already assigned us tasks to cover. No, let's not discuss this at any place called Hannigan's. No. We'll keep it internal. Meeting room. Got some live action, boss. Morty's out there with some badges, grabbing our 3 suspects for who that horn bunny might be. I do hope Mr. Fisher practices restraint. I know him to be rather abrasive when bringing in people. I'm sure Morty means well. Okay, I know we're trying to wrap it up. We're trying to find a good place to wrap it up. Well, the terrorists among them deserves to be abrased. Procedure is important. Innocent until proven guilty. It's very important. We're known pacifists. I'm going to get the rooms ready. There's an update being pushed to the chat room software. Darn, it seems the Liberation Front have found out about our move. They've triggered the reallocation of passwords to the chat room. It's just a matter of minutes before the current password becomes useless. We need to acquire a new one ASAP. They're here. Get ready to interrogate them. We'll line up the files. Okay, this is probably where it's a good time to end. Can we, resume settings, restart level? Yeah, so let's go ahead and quit it here. I think it must be saving as time goes on. So that's the first little bit of what it was, interrogation. You will be deceived. As I said, if you liked it, let me know. Leave it a thumbs up. Comment would be even better. If you didn't like it, also tell me what you didn't like. So thanks for joining me. Hope you enjoyed it and hope to see you again next time.